Hi everyone, my name is Juliet, and today with my partner Duver, we would like to talk to you about the grammar translation method. This grammar translation was the predominant method of teaching a foreign language through the second half of the 19th century up until the second half of the 20th. But actually, the origins can be traced way back when the Earth was still believed to be flat. At some point between 1466 and 1536, when Erasmus of Rotterdam used this method to produce an updated translation of the New Testament. Also, this method was mainly used to teach Latin and Greek. The purpose was to help students with literature understanding. The idea was that students were able to read and to access to foreign language literature, but they didn't really think about the regular use of the language. Okay, so for this reason, teaching a foreign language was highly academic. Okay, and we can question that about that method. So we can train students to read literature from other countries, but does that make students better users of the language? Okay. Now, it's very important to know that this method was teacher-centered. That means that learners were not very active back then, and the teacher, he or she, was the one who had the correct answers. Now, teachers who use this method used to focus a lot on grammar. They used to translate often to explain the language. Okay, so although translation could be useful sometimes, currently it should be our last resource. Okay, we should try everything first, such as images, such as body language and gestures and so on, because this is more challenging and meaningful for our students that just give them the direct translation. Okay. Plus, when teachers use this method, they used to explain the target language in the student's mother tongue. So little did they use the target language. Okay. They used to teach long lists of words in isolated ways. Also, grammar was intensively and extensively explained. Students were asked to focus a lot on the language instead of the content. Okay. What's more, back then, this method didn't allow students to create their own meanings and to express their own ideas and feelings in English. Why? Because in that time there was not much interaction.
Hello, my name is Duver Rodriguez, and today I am going to talk to you about the advantages and the disadvantages of the grammar translation method. For the advantages of this method, we can find that, or we can notice that it provides an awareness of the mother tongue rules. Why? As the students are trying to learn new grammar rules, they are going to tend to compare those rules with the rules they already know. So it will provoke a better understanding of a better awareness of the mother tongue of the students. Another advantage of this method is that the systematic study of grammatical rules plays an important role in fostering students' abilities such as reading and writing. It has a special importance for students to understand and manipulate the morphology and syntax, and it will develop their skills of analyzing and solving problems. And the grammar, another advantage of this method is that the first language is maintained as the reference system in the learning of the second language, right? So, in the grammar translation method, the comparison between two languages helps students to have a better understanding of abstract words and complex sentences. Another advantage of this method is that it makes few demands for on teachers, but it may create some frustration for students. Now I am going to talk to you about the disadvantages of the grammar translation method. The overemphasis on translation can never emancipate the learners from dependence on the first language. So the students are always trying to understand and produce in the foreign language, always thinking in their mother language. So that is one disadvantage of this method. The grammar translation puts too much emphasis on reading and writing and also neglects listening and speaking. Knowing a large number of grammatical rules cannot ensure that the students can use them appropriately in their communicative situation. So, the grammar translation method leaves aside the communicative intent of learning a new language. In the grammar translation method, the texts are mostly taken from literary works, and the language learned often does not meet the practical needs of the learners. So, the lexic and vocabulary the students are going to learn is going to be very, very technique and very literary. So, it's not going to be that useful. And memorizing grammar rules and bilingual word lists does not motivate students to actively communicate in the target language. That is the same as we were talking before. The students are going to have a communicative intent like very, very, very far away from what they are learning.